Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello viewers, welcome back to the class on ESD. So, in the last class we were discussing about multiple intelligence that is proposed by Howard Gardner. So, let us continue with that discussion, multiple intelligence by Howard Gardner. So, as we can see multiple intelligence has initially he said that it was 7 types of multiple intelligence are there, but later on he added the another naturalist dimension of multiple intelligence. So, and the latest version is that it is having a 9 aspects, 9 types of multiple intelligence, 9 types of intelligence, that is the added one, new one is the existential intelligence. So, anyway, let us discuss about what does it mean multiple intelligence. So, besides our basic intelligence, we have all the individuals, we have some special abilities, special types of intelligence, and every individual can be special, can have one or other type of specific intelligence. So, that is called the multiple intelligence, that we cannot say that it is only academic competence or there is only one intelligence, that is academic intelligence or IQ, etc., but individuals can have or they can vary in terms of different types of intelligence. So, let us take it like first thing is let us take it as a special intelligence. Special intelligence is like then they have the very much their perceptions, their intelligence is very high in so far as the space is concerned. Space is concerned, that is seeing and mapping the world in 3D. So, they have the ability to map the whole world, to imagine and map the whole world, the space, especially the space, and also in the 3 dimensions also to map the space in a very effective way, that is called the special intelligence. The examples are like, for example, our architects are very good persons having special intelligence, architects, because they are they design the buildings and the plans, all kinds of things on the platform of space, both 2-dimensional, 1-dimensional and 3-dimensional. So, you can say special intelligence like our engineers and the architects, they are the best examples of having the high level of special intelligence. Then the next comes the musical intelligence. So, musical intelligence, people having musical intelligence, they have the capacity to recognize and create and reproduce and reflect on the music. Even often sometimes also they are also very good musicians, they are very good singers. Okay, they have the talent of being very good singers and the musicians. So, musical besides that, they have the very good sense of sense of perception, understanding the nuances of music, the tones, the ragas, the themes in a very meticulous way, very to the depth, which the layman may not be able to understand. So, that is called the musical sense, extrapersonal musical sense or musical intelligence. So, they can recognize the differences, minor differences in tone, tune, volume and the ragas of all kinds of musical instruments and the music as such, and they have to capacity to recognize, not only recognize, but to create the new tunes, because it is a kind of creative dimensions of the human personality. Not only understanding, but would be able to create such tunes, such music, such rhythms, such ragas, etc., and also to reflect on the music. So, all these all these Indian Idol shows, music shows, musical live shows are the best examples, and the judges who are sitting there, they are having this, you can say, high musical intelligence. Third is the logical reasoning. Logical reasoning, that is people having the high logical reasoning are very much rational in their thinking. They can logically, objectively, rationally think about any object, analysis, problems, etc. So, they are very much skilled at deductive reasoning. They can draw very effectively the conclusions, they can break down any complex problem, etc., into its parts and logically relate it, objectively analyze it, evaluate it, and deduce the conclusions. So, deductive, they are very skilled at deductive reasoning, detecting the patterns. Sometimes they are very good in identifying and predicting or having the intuitive thought to predict the pattern, underlying mechanism, underlying pattern, among pattern within the design, within the framework, within the situation, within the context, so within the image, etc. So detecting the patterns and logical thinking. So they can very much relate one dimension, one aspect to another aspect in any platform. So having the deductive reasoning or applying the deductive reasoning capability of drawing the logical conclusions from the very complex source of information, to draw it, to rationalize it, to and break it down into the mini objectives, mini goals, steps, and etc. So they can very well understand the complex problems, analyze it very properly, think rationally, analyze it, critically evaluate it, and draw the conclusion, draw the solution. So in a very deductive way, deductive reasoning way. So that is called the logical reasoning. Logical reasoning, primarily we can say, we can also call it as the mathematical logical reasoning. Like people who are experts in mathematics, or science subjects, or mathematical reasoning, rational thinking. So this where we are supposed to use our logical reasoning, rational thinking, deductive reasoning. So that kind of expertise shows the logical reasoning or reasoning intelligence. That is one aspect of intelligence. Then another is the interpersonal intelligence. Interpersonal intelligence, I think in the last few classes we have discussed about the interpersonal, intrapersonal intelligence. Similarly, interpersonal communication is between group. Okay, so interpersonal is between at least two individual members within the group, one to one or one to many relationship. Interpersonal, that is a communicating and reading the people, not only communicating our ideas to others, but also perceiving, understanding their perspectives, understanding their perspective, their viewpoints, etc. So communicating effectively to other persons, other individuals, as well as understanding their perspective, and sometimes also studying their behavior, studying their intentions, studying their goals and objectives also. So mind study, or you can say reading their minds, in the sense that what they would like to do, their interested in, their inherent motivation is, what is the inherent motive or intention is there. So that we can know through our interpersonal intelligence. The more intelligent a person is, interpersonal intelligence, he can better understand others, better evaluate their intentions and their motivation, with inherent motivation. So that is interpersonal, between at least two or more than two individuals within the group as well. So then body kinesthetic intelligence, that means the people who are very much thorough in understanding their own body, in the sense that their physical ability, their talents, their so far as the sports and kinesthetic body activities are concerned, they are very good. They can be, for example, they can be very good yoga trainer, physical instructor, very good sports person, maybe in different types of sports persons. So they have not only they have a very good body construction, but also they are athletic. Usually they are the athletics, and they have the ability and capacity and you can say motivation of excelling in the sports field or in the body exercises. So their body kinesthetic intelligence is that they can better understand their whole body parts and how it functions and how effectively it can function in the environment. And they can so they have the well developed physique as well as the ability, extraordinary ability to excel in one or other types of sports. So that is called the body kinesthetic intelligence, using one's own body in highly differentiated and skilled ways. Okay, so we can give the example like all types of athletes, swimmers, sports persons they belong to this category. Even also the judges that means who are the trainers, like the sports trainers, coaches are also, they fall into this category. Then the linguistic intelligence, as the name implies, it is primarily having the excellent intelligence and skills and competencies in spoken English, written language, communication language, and in describing or narrating different kinds of ideas, thoughts, etc. So linguistic intelligence, they have the mastery of spoken language, in written language, and the communication, then also writing the very good literary pieces, etc. So, that is the linguistic intelligence. All kinds of authors, you can say authors, poets, great writers, script writers, story writers, the novel writers, or the one act play, all kinds of the writers, and even you can say the artists also, actors and artists, they are also having this very good linguistic capability often. So, so that they can play the roles by memorizing all the dialogues and delivering in in a very clearly and elaborately, and you can say spontaneous way of expression. So, then here comes our intrapersonal. It is just the opposite of interpersonal. Interpersonal is knowing ourselves better, knowing ourselves individuals, so understanding yourself, what you feel and what you want. That means understanding our own self, our own intentions, motives, motivations, our feelings, emotions, thoughts, all kinds of, that means knowing ourselves in a better way. So, that is the you can say that is the relationship with our individual self, inner self. So, you can say our personality or our outer self relationship with our inner self. Personality is the outcome of all our psychophysical traits. So, it is the intrapersonal intelligence is understanding ourselves much better in a very clear way, so that we have every justification for our actions, thoughts, emotions, feelings. We have the clarity in our so far as our behaviors, our behaviors, our expressions are coming, expressions and interactions with others are related. So, that is the better we understand ourselves, it will be easier for us to understand others. So, intrapersonal intelligence, we can say is the prerequisite for, you can say, interpersonal intelligence. So, these are the I think here it is given 8 types of intelligence, but later on existential intelligence has been added, the new dimensions to this, that is knowing about the understanding about the existence, the core of our existence, the value of our existence, that is what is happening right now currently all across the globe. That is what about our own existence of this planet, existence of the globe, and across this domain, across this platform, to understand every every aspects, every dimensions, and to enhance our knowledge about what happens at present in this world and why it happens, how it is going to take us for the future, all kinds of the existential intelligence. So, now let us move to this all these kind of things. I think we have already little bit discussed about the ESD competencies. Similarly, here competencies with reference to multiple intelligence. We have already discussed about ESD competencies. Here some of the competencies regarding the multiple intelligence. So, multiple interpersonal intelligence, we can say we have already discussed about the collaborative skill, interpersonal between two member or within the group, or the between the group members within the team, etc. So, collaborative skills, sometimes interpersonal meditation, leadership, cooperation, empathy, teamwork, these are all interpersonal. How that means how effectively we not only adjust, relate ourselves within the group, but we act and perform also effectively interpersonal relationship. Strategic planning, it is more towards the decision making, planning and decision making, taking the decision making strategies, awareness of success factors, checking about the knowledge about the behavioral changes, the organizational development skills, key competencies like key factors in any successful act or planning, etc. So, decision making, planning, formulation of strategies, and effective utilization, implementation of those strategies for developing the individual skill and competencies as well as the organizational effectiveness. Then normative competencies, that I think we have already discussed about these normative competencies. The knowledge of the sustainability of the current status and as well as the future sustainability. What would be the what would be the ideal steps, or the what would be the strategic plan of action for sustainable future with regard to the not only awareness of sustainability, but justice, fairness, happiness, well-being, risk-taking behaviors, ethical questions, all kinds of things. That is the normative, regarding the norms and rules of the environment of the globe. Anticipatory skills, that is working with the scenario, forecasting, predicting, backcasting, that means analyzing our past experiences, and intergenerational equity. These are the analytic anticipatory skills. These are some of the key competencies with reference to multiple intelligence also, which can be applied in the area of SDG 4. So, these are the respective examples and case study examples and explanations that you can later go on. Similarly, systems thinking, that is that means having an analysis of the holistic perspective, that is ability to work with the feedbacks, loops, systems, and simple systems and the multiple variables of the complex situation, and that requires the immediate address, resilience, identifying the key points, etc. So, systems thinking, that is analyzing and thinking from a holistic perspective. Okay. Then intrapersonal competency, that represents presencing or ability to hold have contradictory feelings with contradictory thoughts, ideas, views and feelings with ourselves, then within the person, within the then group stress management, then cultivating the different kinds of feelings of inner peace, compassion, meaningful life, value orientation, service orientation, experiencing love and compassion, and connecting ourselves with others in the globe, not only just our family members, friends and family members, but with others as well. Like even in a strange situation, in a new situation, novel situation also, we can relate ourselves to other members, other group members, other fellow beings, or other, even we can sometimes relate also ourselves to the nature itself. So, that is the intrapersonal competency. So, again ESD assessment is a part of an active learning cycle. Yes, of course, as we are going to implement the ESD in curriculum, in practice, in pedagogy, in all kinds of things, in a whole institution context, then how this ESD, which has become a part of our learning cycle, active learning cycle, how it can be assessed. So, the ESD assessment as a part of an active learning cycle. If you want to engage ourselves in active learning cycle with the whole institution approach, then here we have to develop a framework. We have to develop a framework that is with the positive learning cycle in monitoring, that framework will monitor an evaluation, that which learning stimulates the outcomes which are evaluated, feeding into reflection and planning for the future implementation of teaching. So, as we can see, there are the 4 primary domains, like for example, encouraging and supporting, then designing and planning, putting into action, and monitoring and reflection. So, like for example, suppose this is the learning cycle, okay, ESD based learning cycle, the action reflection cycle, action and reflection cycle, okay, of learning and assessment drawing. Again, it is based on the Kolb's theory of experiential learning. Okay, if it is the learning action reflection cycle, first thing is that dialogical learning cycle, having the dialogue, like encouraging and supporting, okay, encouraging and supporting, designing, planning, having the dialogical cycle, having the debate, dialogue, discussion, or the verbal communication, then this is being initiated. Then comes the whole institution approach. Gradually we adopt it across the institution, whole institutional approach, like putting it into action, then monitoring it and reflecting on it, then again encouraging and supporting. So, here from this institutional approach, then again we try to embed the sustainability in the curriculum. So, embedding the sustainability in the curriculum, dialogic learning, after the embedding, then we are having the learning it, having the dialogues, discussions, hands-on, etc., and from there we are going to implement it for the whole institution. So, this is the learning cycle, ESD based learning cycle. How ESD can be embedded, ESD and sustainability can be embedded in the curriculum through whole institution approach, and this is the learning cycle, learning, action and reflection, learning, action and then reflection. So, again it is based on the experiential learning model. So, here it is an illustration has been given, how monitoring and assessment of ESD through different competencies can form a part of the active learning cycle. As you can say, when we relate it to the pedagogy and the learning environment, how it integrates the curricula and both formal and non-formal education, and how it is regenerative in culture and and scope. Like for example, here you can say, this is the curricula. The whole institution, within the institution we have developed curricular training, regenerative learning, culture of leadership, training courses, skilling up, then informal and lifelong learning. These are the going on activities. Okay. So, then it is related to what plus how. Here again we add that what we are going to learn out of it and how we are going to learn out of it. So, here definitely for what and how, this pedagogy, yes, of course, multiple intelligence and learning environment or context, these three factors are very important. This is one dimension when we relate it to the whole institution approach, how ESD can be embedded in the whole institution. So, that is one context, that is the pedagogy, multiple intelligence, learning environment, that is one type related to this. Then comes the education, and within education, as we can see, education for sustainability, EFS, then key competencies required for this, and intrapersonal competency. So, this is a domain of education, again domain of education that is also directly related to the whole institution approach, that is the curricular training, etc. Then the another domain is that new relationship to life, emergent cultural transformation, what does it mean to be human, and other questions. So, these are other co-variables are confounding variables like new relationship to the life, emerging cultural transformation, what does it mean to be a human. So, here we can say here how SDGs are refined and strengthened, then practices of regenerative culture is there, then regenerative culture knowledge commons, then a new ways of working together, all kinds of things, cultural transmission, then new ways of thinking, innovation and transformation, that also takes place. This is something. So, and new collaborative models that can be, that is one aspect, that is the creative aspects. Then again from the education also, from whatever we have done competencies and the education for sustainability that we have introduced, how to act upon it. So, action learning, that is action learning cohort to test the EFS measurement framework, so framework redefined. So, whatever we are proposing like education for sustainable development, sustainability, key competencies, strategic thinking, systems thinking, then interpersonal relationship, competency, etc., how we are going to implement it in terms of active learning. So, this action learning cohort is also there too, and which can be measured through the framework. So, the framework again from time to time these are being refined. So, education domain, the pedagogy domain, pedagogy with learning environment, context and multiple intelligence, that is also another important domain, and the innovative thought process like new relationship, new pattern, new cultural, then the emerging cultural transformation, then the hybrid fusion and hybrids across all the things. Then SDGs redefine, all the SDGs redefine plus strengthen, more action plan, more strategies, practice of regenerative culture, knowledge domains, all these are again these three dimensions. So, we can say this whole institution, this kind of framework can be implemented for not only for monitoring and evaluating the assessment and assessing the ESD, but also implementing the ESD based curricula and embedding the ESD in the curricula, and from time to time evaluating it, strengthening it after getting the feedback. So, this is the framework of active learning cycle, embedding sustainability, embedding ESD. So, these are some of the how ESD can be embedded in our curriculum or practice and whole institution. These are some of the examples, like you can say how the children can be introduced to the natural process of agriculture, planting the trees, all kinds of agricultural sciences and the relevance of the ecology and environmental science. So, similarly, then togetherness, relationship building, teamwork, students can also be introduced to that. So, here we are increasingly asking if what people learn is truly relevant to their lives, or if what they learn helps to ensure the survival of our planet. So, education for sustainable development can provide the knowledge, awareness and action that empower the people to transform themselves and transform the society. So, ESD can help us not only in understanding the natural domains, natural concepts, concepts, but also helps us in understanding these things and also enabling us, empowering us to not only adjust and adapt ourselves to the environment, but also can face or empower us to face the challenges, face the challenges to solve the critical problems, complex problems, and by transforming the individual self, as well as when all the individuals, every individual will transform themselves by adopting sustainable habits and getting rid of unsustainable things, unsustainable lifestyle, consumption, etc., then definitely all of them together can move forward towards transforming the whole society. So, transforming self and transforming the society through ESD based actions, habits, and the learning styles and the pedagogy. So, here again this is the learning cycle, again how the social transformation takes place. So, General Assembly that reaffirms that education for sustainable development is an integral element of sustainable development goals, all the 17 goals, and on the quality, based on the quality education and the key enabler of all the other sustainable development goals. So, as you can see, the learning content is important when we adopt this whole institution approach. One is the learning content is there, which integrates the sustainability issues, in particular those enshrined in 17 SDGs with all kinds of targets, climate change, poverty, or water, then land space, taking care of land space, ecosystem, all the 17 SDGs, starting from infrastructure to marine life to everything. So, that is the learning content, how the content to be developed, embedding the sustainability issues mentioned in 17 SDGs and its targets, okay, all kinds of learning. That from there, so then again pedagogy, here again pedagogy and learning, how to learn it, it is to be taught, how it is to be explained. So, employ the interactive and project based learning. So, we have to communicate, we have to educate people, we have to inform people through education, through communication, through dissemination of information, through interaction. So, here pedagogy and learning environment will be more interactive, more project based, work based, learning by doing or experience based, learner centered pedagogy, because the learners plays a key role, learner centered pedagogy. So, all these things, these are the key pedagogical units. Then transforming all aspects of learning environment by asking different types of questions, who, why, when, where, all kinds of reflective questions, critical question, analyzing these questions and answering these questions to know about the who, why, when, all the reasons of cause and effect relationship and different types of relationship, and transform all the aspects of learning environment through a whole institution approach. So, again whole institution approach, we are going to adopt it, embed ESD in every sphere, in every dimension, in every goal, every step. So, that is called the whole institution approach, ESD, not only in that content, curriculum and pedagogy, but also in practice, but also in environment, but also in communication, everything. So, institution approach to ESD to enable the learners to live what they learn and learn what they live. So, here we can say whatever we are learning, actually we are living that kind of life, and whatever we are living, that we are actually learning from our curriculum and content and practicing it. So, we can say learning the live and living the learning. So, in this way, so that every learner will be enabled to live the life that he is learning about sustainability, that is within the institution. So, that can bring the 300-degree transformative approach through whole institution approach to ESD, which not only enable the learner to learn new things, certain sustainability things and practices, but also live the life of having that sustainable behavior, consumption, etc. So, then in this way, then we can gradually move towards the social transformation. Definitely in a community, if all the people, all the members, they start behaving sustainably, adopting sustainable habits, consuming sustainably and taking care of their environment, etc., then definitely it will empower the whole society, community, that is to enable at the achievement of SDGs, or not only just ESD or quality education or SDG 4, but all other 16 SDGs also, that is the enable to achieve all the SDGs towards the building a more sustainable world. So, simultaneously we can make progress towards achieving all the 17 SDGs. Automatically the transformation, social transformation can be possible throughout the world at the earlier stage. So, even though UNESCO has kept the date as 2030, then the learning outcome, how these are going to come out as the learning outcome, that is empowering the people to take responsibility for the present future generation and actively contribute towards the social transformation. So, when societal transformation takes place, then the learning outcome is that means the people are being empowered, every stakeholder is being empowered with the responsibility of taking care of the planet and their environment, not only at present but also for the future, but also conserving these, restoring these resources for the future generation as well. So, that is the learning outcome, that is the long term learning outcome or the goal of all our education or ESD based curriculum framework or whole institution approach. So, empowering people to take the responsibility for the present as well as the future generations, actively contributing towards the social transformation, conservation, etc. So, this is the framework. Now, I am just concluding it here right now, the ESD based learning framework. Now, in the next class we will continue. Thank you.